Well, let's get the beat back up in here. What a depressing analysis of what's going on in our world. But most importantly, I think most of you, and I know for myself, I believe that America still is the exceptional country out there. And people like ourselves, or a meeting like this, know we can turn this country around, but we need new leadership in Washington. I'm running for United States Senate because Dianne Feinstein and many others who are incumbents have led our country down the drain with reckless spending, taxing, regulations. I, as a lifetime businessman, know what it takes to make a payroll and to build a business. I've been out there. I've had many sleepless nights as an employer out there, hiring and firing, and what's going to happen next? How do I get through the next recession, or the problems that we've had in San Diego and in California? So I'm here to gain your support and to give you the reason why you should vote for myself here. So as a businessman, I know what our number one problem in our country is, and that is we've got to get the American spirit back. We need a new president. My number one goal is to get a new president and say goodbye to Barack Obama. Yeah. Next is we have to take control of the Senate. We've got to take control of the Senate. Right now, we've got John Boehner in the House. He's doing an okay job, in my opinion. Can do a little better, but most importantly, we've got Harry Reid blocking. I think I heard tonight something like there's 178 bills passed by the House that are sitting on Harry Reid's desk, and he's not doing his job. Not to mention the 3 years of not balancing a budget or even submitting a budget for the Senate. So this guy's got to go. We've got to get some new people in the Senate. That's why I'm running. I'm a lifetime businessman. I had no idea a year ago I would be running for United States Senate, but I'm doing it because I, like many of you said, when is somebody going to step up? When is somebody with morals and ethics? One is somebody that keeps their word, going to run for office and not a career politician. That's who I am. You have my word on it. So let's talk about, thank you. Let's talk about job creation. The federal government does a great job, okay? As a businessman, I can tell you, I had multiple warehouses in multiple states. And in our office, I reminded all the people in our office that here's what we do in the office. We're here to create an environment so our warehouses and our people can thrive and do the business that we did. I was in the automotive parts and automotive repair business for over 30 years here in San Diego. I had warehouses also in Arizona, Nevada, and Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I'm the real deal. I've been out there. I had over 100 employees at one time. In fact, when I was younger, I was about 23, 24. I owned the company, and every employee was older than I was. But I was a driven young man who knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to have the American dream. My parents taught me at an early age, there's nothing you can't do in this country, John. You just got to go for it. You got to go for it. So I learned that. So back to job creation. Job creation comes from small businessmen like me and you, and many of you in the audience here today. And that comes from less federal regulations. We need tax reform and regulation reform. Many of you may have heard of H.R. 10, once again, passed the House, waiting for it to get across Harry Reid's desk. And what this is a regulation reform bill that says this. Any major regulation put out by the bureaucracy out there, like the EPA and so forth, that has $100 million more impact on a business, has to pass the House, has to pass the Senate, and has to pass the President's desk with a simple up or down vote. They can't amend it. All they can say is yes, the people like that, or no, the people don't. This is what our congressmen are supposed to do. They have just appropriated money over the years to the EPA, to the Interior Department, and all the other departments who have continuously made regulations that are killing our economy. And as we all know, our manufacturing base has gone to zero in this country. There's nobody making anything anymore. We're all selling somebody something else that's made overseas. But we can turn that around. We still have the greatest country. There's many people I talk to out there, businessmen, who say, if we could just get the government off our back, we would invest again in small businesses and create jobs. We all know there's millions of small businesses out there, and that's the ones who create the jobs. So once again, I think it was news that said, the day, that evening on November 6th, when President Obama has been declared the loser, the economy will start to turn around. I really believe that. So once again, the job creation comes from the less regulations and less government. Let's talk about tax reform here. I personally like either the fair tax or flat tax. This is, people ask me all the time, what are you going to do about these guys that go to Washington and buy your vote? You know, there's all kinds of names. There's some bad names out there, and there's some okay names for them. But let me tell you, if we overhauled the tax system or eliminated the IRS, half of these would be gone from Washington. Literally half would be gone. You still have some coming to Washington, but by doing a tax reform, a flat tax or fair tax, these lobbyists are going to disappear. Many lobbyists are going to disappear. And that'll level out the playing field. Once again, as a small businessman, looking and saying, okay, you know, with this 2-month tax holiday that was passed, what a disaster. I mean, nobody out here, I'm sure, went out and bought a new TV or bought anything with their 2 months of extra payroll money, much less a businessman saying, okay, I'm going to go ahead and hire another employer. I'm going to expand my business. Or I need to get some new racking for my warehouse. Or I need some more vehicles. No one can make a decision like no businessman can expand their business when they don't know what the taxes are. And you have our president, who's supposed to be the cheerleader of our country, out there constantly saying millionaires and billionaires are not paying their fair share, and the little people aren't get this, and we need to have more social programs, and you're not paying your fair share. Well, that's got to stop. So tax reform is a big issue. So once again, as your senator representing you, the people, I will make sure that we get a tax reform bill out there on the table. Energy independence, this is my favorite issue here. And I've been on the record, I've been actually on radio said the same thing, is that I challenge any environmentalist to show me that it's better for our world to drill in a third world country versus drilling in the United States. Let's face it, we have the strictest regulations and we have the best drilling record of any country in the world. This oil that's being drilled in third world countries, I'm sure it's not to our standards. And I can tell you for sure, the biggest amount of oil that's spilled is from the ships out there. We all remember the Exxon Valdez. We think that's the big spill. I just found out the Exxon Valdez was the 35th largest oil spill out there. That means it was 34. I forgot the top one was about 100 times the Exxon Valdez. So that's where the oil spill. So if you're a true environmentalist and you believe that we need to take care of our world, which I do, we need to be drilling in our country, not in third world countries, and bringing it over here on ships that are constantly leaking oil and so forth and so on. Deep water drilling has got to stop. So those are, you know, we all know about job creation as far as the oil. We've heard about this. We've got the Keystone Pipeline that's been blocked also here, which would definitely create jobs and give us, you know, the national security that we need by having oil. I think it's about 45% of the oil that we need is drilled in our own country or it's in neighboring countries of Canada and Mexico. It is absolutely a national security issue. What we have right now, we've got Iran out there threatening to close the straits. I mean, look at the gas price jumps overnight by that. That is not good for the people. As your representative, I would never do that to you. As your president, I would definitely not put you in that situation by having this energy, you know, commission that is anti-drilling, it's anti-business, to the point we are subject to these price fluctuations based on a market by some crazy dictator that's threatening to close the strait and cut off, what, 20% of the oil supply. So we need to fix this energy independence. Let's go into 9th and 10th Amendment. Those are my favorite topics here. I really believe the 9th Amendment should have been the First Amendment. I believe that our rights were given to us by our Creator. And there's a point as individuals, we gave up some of our rights as we built our country, we built our states, we built our country. And that's the 9th Amendment. 10th Amendment is that we eventually want to give those rights up to the federal government. And the most basic right, back to individuals, was as we came into cities and created townships and cities, that we said, you know what we need? We need some kind of law and order. Instead of everybody having law and order in their own hands, we need the basic constable, we need the basic sheriff, the basic marshal. That was the very first right that a human gave up as they formed towns and so forth. And that comes from the 9th Amendment, that you have the right as a citizen to retain your rights, but to give up rights to a higher source. So that's the 9th Amendment. 10th Amendment is now the states have said it's in our best interest to give up some of our rights to the federal government. And the first one, same thing I believe, comes to it's better for our federal government to have the overall jurisdiction and to protect the states from enemies, foreign and domestic. So that's where I stand on the 9th and 10th Amendment. And so one of the big things that we talk about in the 10th Amendment is how much have we really given up to the federal government versus how much have they taken? And nobody knows the answer. Is it tenfold, 100-fold? All I know is it's way overreached. The federal government is way overreached into our everyday lives, not only at the personal level, but also at the state level. It's time. Thank you. It's time for the states to wake up. I don't know why more governors aren't stepping up and saying, you know, like in Arizona, Governor Brewer aren't stepping up and saying, you know, enough is enough, and then being, you know, prosecuted by the Obama administration. This nonsense has got to stop. It's clearly a 10th Amendment right that the state has a right to protect itself. It's very basic. So once again, regulation reform, back to 10th Amendment. That is something I will advocate. We have HR 10 in there, and what we need is we need to get the Senate side. I need to get in the Senate. I am a winner. I need your support. We need to get rid of people like Dianne Feinstein who have not taken care of the people or of our country for the short term, much less the long term. I want to take some time for questions and answers. I really enjoy that. So let me talk about border protection. Another big problem here in California. We need to protect our borders. It's a national security issue as well as an immigration issue. As a former law enforcement officer, I was a reserve police officer in the city of Carlsbad back many years ago, and I actually got hurt off the job. I didn't get hurt on the job, and I had to turn in my badge and my gun, and I really missed that badge and gun. It was a lot of fun. But I do have law enforcement experience. I did deal with. In Carlsbad, we had a lot of flower fields and a lot of fields there. We dealt with immigration issues, so I have firsthand knowledge of that. And there are many people that want to come to this country. We know why. It's the greatest country on the face of the earth. But we need some order to that. We just can't let people come over here, live here, feed off of us, and so forth. So we need some kind of path to citizenship. We need a new system for visas, for work visas and for education visas, but no amnesty. You have my word on that. No amnesty. That has to be stopped. Also, what I'd like to do, there's many things as I think about, getting into Washington, D.C. What committees would I like to be on? What would I do? Well, one of the first committees I would love to be on is the Judiciary Committee. I believe that we have, particularly the Ninth Circuit here, we have elected, and the Senate has approved judges that have absolutely just stated from the bench, and that needs to stop. The senators are not doing their job. Next committee would be Armed Services Committee. We are going to be in a base realignment mode here. I mean, the people have made it clear we've got to balance the budget, and it's going to be some tough decisions to make there. And I believe that we're going to have some base realignment, and I would love to be on that committee to oversee the base realignment, which is not just nationwide, but worldwide. And lastly, with my experience in small business, I want to be in the Small Business and the Entrepreneurial Committee, which is very important to our reconstruction of our country and getting us out of this crisis that we're in, which is lack of jobs, lack of economy. So with that, once again, my name is John Boruff. I'm on Facebook, Twitter. I happen to be here in San Diego, North County. I'm running for the United States Senate, which is the whole state of California. I have to win the votes the whole state of California. There's a referendum on Dianne Feinstein, on the Democrats, and on all the incumbents. And I am a winner, and I plan on winning this race, but I need your support. And I need you to jump on the website, get registered, stay on our email blast, support where you can, get out there, and tell a friend. I see a lot of you, I've seen in many places, but our most important job is to get our word out there. I think the Democrats have killed us, but we have, as a conservatives and Republicans, we have a good platform. We're just not getting it out there. We've got to get it out there, let people know where we stand, get them out to vote, and we can win this election and turn things around in our country. Thank you.